The Green Bay Packers is next up here. They went 11-6 last season. They were the first team in NFL history to play 5 regular season games against opponents with 13 plus wins and still make the playoffs. Before we get into this, I think people are absolutely sleeping on the Chargers, on the Green Bay Packers, excuse me. Jordan Love was literally battling injury all season long. He got hurt by Jalen Carter in the first game of the season on his with his knee, came back early from that, and then I think he pulled his hammy in another game towards like the middle back half of the season. I even think with all of that happened to him last year, I thought he continued to get better. He took a big step from last season to this season. I mean, he took 30 sacks last season. He took under 15, I think, this year. So I'm expecting a big jump from Jordan Love in 2025. This team is still super young. I know that that's something that always gets harped on when they're talking about them, but that's just the facts at this point. I don't think that the injury to Jordan Love helped anybody this season. They're bringing back the same coaching staff. This team's getting together for a whole nother year. I think that a lot of people have kind of discredited the Packers of who they are as a football team a little bit. And some people have even given up on Jordan Love as a whole, which I think is ridiculous. Especially somebody who was fighting through so many injuries last year. Like I said, they were the first team ever in NFL history to play that stacked of a schedule and still be able to make the NFL playoffs, even with all the injuries that they had going on. Super underrated, impressive season by them last year. And it felt sloppy. I think it felt sloppy because they were never truly able to get healthy the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, any Matt LaFleur coached team, I will never sleep on. He's one of those guys now in the NFL that goes into a list of, if that is the guy coaching if that is your head coach, you expect his team to be ready week in and week out. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's a long list of coaches in the NFL, but I think he's on that list. So I refuse to sleep on the Packers as long as he's around. I mean, they brought in Malik Willis, and the Packers looked pretty good with Malik Willis, a quarterback, throughout the
Crazy.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
The Jordan Love injury is unfortunate because I was also super high on him last year. I still think he's going to be good. I'm not necessarily worried about him. But yeah, I think I didn't realize this until you mentioned it, but all those games against 13-win teams is just like absolutely crazy and still make the playoffs.
Think about it. They played the Eagles, they played the Vikings
twice.
They played the Lions twice. I mean, and then they played the Eagles in the playoffs when they got there. I mean, they played a brutal schedule last season against some really high level football teams. And like I said, it sucked. When Jordan Love went down week 1 on the last play with that knee injury, I was literally like, that absolutely sucks, because we were about to watch. We thought we were about to watch a special year from the Green Bay Packers, and I think that everybody kind of quit the Packers a little bit, but I think that just some of these things really need to get highlighted, and this is still a great team, and I'm excited for them next season as well. But we'll get into that whenever we do the season previews. But the departures of this team was Josh Myers, their center, AJ Dillon, their backup running back, who only wants to play Farming Simulator, and Eric Stokes. Did I miss any of the departures on that list?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any of those guys matter that much, is what I'm getting at here. Additions: Aaron Banks, guard; Nate Hobbs, cornerback; and then Mecole Hardman at wide receiver. None of those names really do too much for me other than getting Aaron Banks in at guard. Am I missing any additions on here? Do you have anything that you want to add in about any of these additions? I mean, the Mecole Hardman signing, like, what's the point of doing that?
Yeah, I don't know. That really doesn't matter to me, but they had a pretty quiet offseason. They only signed 5 guys.
Okay.
So
I did
not
miss
really a
somebody.
whole. I mean, Brandon McNamas, and he re-signed for 3 years. McManus, sorry, he re-signed for 3 years. the pervert, and then
Do you know
Isaiah
about him?
McDuffie. I think I do. I
Okay.
feel like I've heard that before.
The airplane story?
Yeah, I think
He's a
so.
pervert. Okay,
I think
sorry.
so. Um,
I want smoke, McMantis. Go
but
ahead.
no, there was only 5. They've only signed 5 guys this offseason, so like not a ton of action going on their part.
I think that's on purpose, honestly. This upcoming draft, they have 8 picks.
Yeah, they
I
don't
think
really.
that
Yeah,
I think that they're gonna try to address a lot of their holes on their roster in the draft. Pause. And I think that they're going to be able to do it. I like some of the players that they've brought in over the years. There's just their identity of the players that they have taken over the years in the trenches have been smaller guys that they would kind of hope to be better than what they actually are. I still don't hate any of them. I just think that they're asked to do a lot with the size that they have. And you saw that a lot last season where they were getting bullied just against the run game. They played a good running football team. They struggled with that because they just are small up front.
yeah,
The Jair Alexander departure, I know I didn't bring that up. Uh, who cares? He doesn't play.
yeah,
I'm so tired of people saying how good Jair Alexander is when he plays 45% of the games. I don't view him as somebody who's that important for them.
yeah, yeah. If you're playing less than half the year and all of your clips for the season are just you in the locker room, like talking to reporters, like it's time to pack your bags.
Yeah, and the coin toss situation was insane last season in overtime.
Can you refresh my memory on what happened? Didn't he pick like when you do that coin toss, you have to pick specific heads or tails, if or you
Yeah.
have to pick like what you want rather than the direction. And if
Yes.
you mess up, like you don't get you don't get the football.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
thought. I forget
So
what team he did it against.
against the Panthers because it was like his home team or something like that.
He was throwing the game.
He has something wrong with him. Like, I'm not a Jair Alexander guy, but he's going to be so good on the Ravens. Anyway, like I said, the Packers have 8 picks in this upcoming draft. They have 23 overall. What do you want to see the Packers do in the draft? What is this in a week? Maybe less.
Yeah, next Thursday.
Next
Um,
Thursday.
I don't know if this guy's going to be there because it seems like his stock has been continuously jumping, but um, Jade Barron,
Okay.
the corner from Texas, to basically backfill the loss of Jair Alexander. I don't know if he makes it to 23 because I have been hearing that teams are really liking him, but I do think that they should address the cornerback position. And I know they
Oh,
signed, I forget what you just said his name was at the beginning of this, Nate Hobbs, but I don't think it hurts to add another guy.
if
I
you
think Jade Barron's solid.
if you are tapped into mock 3.0, I have Jade Barron going 11 to the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to make it to 23.
Really the main piece of this is if the Tet McMillan stock plummeting rumors are true. This is the perfect Tet McMillan team. If all of the stuff that we're hearing about Tet McMillan, where he is just completely fallen out of good graces, even though he is probably the best wide receiver in this class. And I can't tell if it's all smoke and mirrors or that's just how he's viewed. I've talked to somebody who is an area scout of in that area the entire season. He had like Wyoming, he did Colorado with like Shador and Travis Hunter, he did Arizona State, Arizona, and he said that the Tet McMillan rumors are all cap, and he thinks that he's going to be a top 10 pick. So that's somebody who was actually there scouting him and who has told like GMs about him, the whole nine. I don't know how true. I don't know how much true info he has on that situation. I've had Tet McMillan going 5 to the Jacksonville Jaguars like in every single mock draft, but there's a part of me where I think that this stock plummeting is true, And I think that if he can somehow fall to the Green Bay Packers, I think that this would solve a lot of their problems at the wide receiver position where they don't really have that guy at wide receiver, as Josh Jacobs alluded to in this offseason, where they have a lot of guys who can do things, but they really need somebody that can take that next step. And I think Ted McMillan with Jordan Love could be a problem.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I thought about wide receiver for this team because I do agree. I don't think they have like a number one guy. I think they have a lot of just like talented guys, but none of them really are true standouts, in my opinion, as wide receiver, like one type of guys. And I just don't think, I mean, if Tet's there, I just don't think you miss the opportunity to draft a guy like that if he falls to you at 23. But other than that, it really feels like any of these other wide receivers that you would take at this point for the Packers would basically just blend in with what they have
It'd
right
be
now.
completely redundant. It'd be
Yeah.
pointless. The
Yeah.
other position that I would like to see the Packers take if this Ted McMillan piece does not fall to them is I have this as the Walter Nolan team. I think that they need a
Okay.
big body at defensive tackle. I have Walter Nolan or Derek Harmon. I think that they need to continue to kind of build in the trenches and figure everything else out from there. And getting somebody who could be a big body in the middle of that defense could be very beneficial for them. So that's who I have the Packers taking, who I would like to see them take.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have any disagreements with that. I think they do need to address the defensive line as well.
Nice.
It does feel like this is a defensive pick team unless
They always are.
miraculously Tet McMillan is miraculously there.
They're notoriously a defensive first team in every single draft ever.
True. That's why Rodgers was out of there.
But it just feels like over the last few years, like the Lucas Van Ness pick and all of those picks just haven't been really getting it done for them. And I think that continue to build that defensive line could be important for them. Do you have anything else that you want to say about the Pack, or are you good?
No, I'm good.
White cloud.